Midland County Board of Commissioners meeting to order February 18th, 2020 at 9 a.m. And will you call roll, please?
Commissioner Snyder?
Here.
Glazer?
Here.
Twilliger?
Here.
Geisler?
Yes.
Dorian? Nosen?
Here.
Chairman Bone?
Here.
6 present, 1 absent.
We'll ask Commissioner Twilliger to lead us in the invocation and the pledge, please.
Heavenly Father, we meet today to serve our community and to use resources wisely. We desire to represent all members of our community fairly. We recognize our responsibility to the past and the future, as well as the rights and needs of both individuals and the community. We seek your blessings on our deliberations and efforts today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes for February 4th and February 11th of 2020.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend we approve both minutes.
Support. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. Okay, we will approve the minutes for February 11th and February 4th, got that backwards, 2020, and move on to the acceptance of the bills.
Properly addressed, general bank claims approved for the weeks of 1/13 through 1/17, $950,797.89, with total general fund expenditures $195,543.53. Next set of bills for the weeks of 1/20 through 1/24, $371,157.52, with total general fund expenditures $95,078.30.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend we approve the bills.
Support.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Okay, we will approve the bills, and we do have a special program of the day. With us today is an update on the Road Commission from Managing Director John Myers. Thanks for being here, John.
Thank you for inviting me. Good morning.
Welcome to the county.
What's that?
Welcome to the
Thank
county.
you very much. I'm glad to be here. I got a little presentation here quick. Some of you have probably seen it already, but this is a little summary put together by former director Terry Palmer. Had some neat graphs and some lovely numbers. You know, as an engineer, I see this and I love it, you know. But I thought I would come here and explain it a little bit, kind of give a summary of what we did in 2019 and give another, little bit of information about what we got planned for 2020. Those are the numbers. Those are, everybody saw those and said, oh yeah, that looks nice. Well, what does that mean? First of all, we have our county roads. They're broken down into local and primary roads, as you might already know. 35% of them primary, 65% are the local roads. So, I mean, we have over 1,000 miles. That tells you about what we're dealing with here. So what we have is, for those primary routes, we had 51 miles that we worked on total. And there's a breakdown there of what we did on the primary routes. Mile-wise, you can see it's mostly chip seals. We did 33 miles there, and the rest was overlays and reconstructs. The reconstructs are expensive, so, I mean, that's why there's fewer of those. For the local roads, there we go. Pretty much the same thing. It's about 48 miles total we did on the local roads, mostly chip seals, some overlays and reconstructs. Those are dealing with the townships mostly, and trying to come up with a plan with each of the townships and what works good for them. So total, this is our big pie chart for the total work that we did. That's all of our roads. You know, you can see the chip seals, the overlays, reconstruct. It only makes up a little, really a small slice of the pie. But that's not to mean that we didn't do anything on any of the other roads. You know, we have the regular routine maintenance, which is the plowing, the grading, adding gravel, doing drainage work, all of that type of stuff. We even did some chip seals and patching, and that's all the stuff that we do on the regular, on the other stuff that we're not doing the major projects on. So, all right, we have 20. That's kind of a summary of what we're looking at for 2020. Pretty much the same. The numbers are down a little bit. We have one major project on Eastman Avenue, north of the city of Midland. So that takes up a big part of our budget for the year. But other than that, this is both the local and the primary totals. So we're still working on about 100 miles. That's the overlays, the reconstruction, the chip seals. I put on there the others because that's same type of thing as a little bit heavier routine maintenance where we're doing the chip seals, we're doing drainage projects, other types of projects that aren't necessarily going to be reflected on brand new black pavement, but still other additional miles that we're working on. So.
John, what are you going to do on Eastman? Whereabouts on Eastman?
Eastman Avenue starts just north of the city and goes up to Blackhurst.
Okay.
It's, they're widening, they're adding a center turn lane and adding additional wider shoulders further to the north. The center turn lane doesn't go that entire width or entire length of the project, but so it's a major reconstruct project.
So it's before Monroe then, or
No, it goes
After.
past Monroe.
it's past?
Yeah, it sounds like it starts like maybe by City Forest, goes past Monroe up to Blackhurst, correct?
Correct, yeah.
I don't know what
It starts south of
Yeah, it's-
Monroe, and
Is that
the
still-
turn lane goes up to Monroe, and then
Okay.
it'll be, they're widening the shoulders and redoing the drainage and everything north
Yep.
of there.
Is that still Avenue or is that Eastman Road?
Eastman
I
Road.
I have a reason to ask, because I have a lot of mail sometimes that goes
We
to.
refer to it as Eastman Road, but
Yeah, I think it is.
Do you know where Avenue or where road starts?
It's just city limits.
Is it?
I would think so.
Because I live on Eastman and I have
it's
to put
Avenue-
Avenue on there, otherwise something or somebody is getting stuff at Eastman Road,
If it's
2006.
Avenue, it's city.
Bridget?
John, is the Eastman project going to start before the bridge is completed on Monroe Road?
probably, we're hoping that the Monroe Road bridge is done this spring.
That would
so.
be lovely.
It won't be terribly long before they have it open. Right now, they're just waiting for the weather to improve so that they can put concrete.
That would really cause a traffic issue
Yep.
if Eastman Road was reduced lanes or closed and Monroe also.
Yeah, no, the bridge shouldn't take too much longer as soon as the
Awesome.
weather improves so that we can get the concrete poured.
Great.
But that'll be open. They might still be doing some minor stuff on the bridge. but,
Okay.
It'll be open to traffic.
Okay,
So
awesome.
will you take that, one more Eastman question, will you take that down to one lane or will that,
Yes.
so it'll never be closed, it will be one lane during
Correct.
construction?
For a majority of the project is going to be reduced to just one lane, and it's going to have directional traffic maintained on it. So that means traffic will be going one direction, but to come back in the other direction, you have to take the detour route around to get back into the city.
Okay.
Oh.
Commissioner Nelson?
Yeah, just an overall question about funding. And I don't know enough about this, but I know what Governor Whitmer has done. Is this exclusively from our millage? Or do we get monies from the state to do this?
The numbers that I presented are a combination of the Michigan transportation funds and
Okay.
the stuff from the
So did our funds increase this year at all?
they were pretty flat.
Yeah. Now
We've been hopeful for quite a while that something was going to change to increase the funding for the local roads. I thought for a long time that it was going to be a bigger plan that addressed all of the state roads, and I'm not so sure now.
No,
because
they've pretty exclusively said it's going to be.
with the bonding that the Transportation Commission approved, that is 100% state roads.
Yeah.
That does not provide any
No
money
local.
for locals. So I don't know if that's going to if they're going to pursue additional funding at this point that will help the locals, or if they're going to kind of push it off now that something has been done, it looks like something. It's hard to say. Right now, I was optimistic for a long time. Right now, I'm a little less so, just because something has happened. Everybody sees more funding in the fact that with the bonding, but that will not affect the local roads at all.
Yeah, and I can just tell you that there's still some energy for allowing for an individual county gas tax to be used for roads, which is problematic for a number of reasons, but not the least of which is, if we want to do a millage, we can do a millage. You know, we don't need a gas tax to, and then you start county hopping in terms of who's got gas
Sure.
tax and who doesn't. So I don't see in the foreseeable future a whole lot of help from the state.
We'll see.
Commissioner Geisler, did you have a question?
Yes. We have or do you have a breakdown between the amount of roads that are, the payments are broken into township and county? And then county and city, and county and state, and county and federal? Are those all broken down into?
No, I don't have, that's information that we have, I don't have it with me, so I can't give you.
But there is a breakdown on each division of government.
Yes.
Don't we have that on, Chris Cantrell, isn't that?
I think
A
that's
layer?
a layer already in
Yeah.
GIS.
Thank you. Anybody, did somebody else?
Yeah, I
Commissioner
did have a
Twilliger?
quick question. So, for the roundabout that's over on 30 up in, right off 10,
Yes.
is there any discussion, maybe not for 20, but for 21 or 22, for any more additional roundabouts in Midland County?
In Midland County, we currently have safety funds to add a roundabout at the intersection of Freeland Road and Sass Road.
Yeah, I kind of know about that.
You knew?
Yeah.
And we applied for additional funds for another one at Monroe and Waldo.
Okay,
So those are safety funds, which are a majority federal
that's fine.
funding, so.
So what's on the docket? I'm not going to get into there are different schools of thought on that, and I'm very neutral. So that's like going to be 21 or 22, or what do you think?
It's 2021 funding, so hopefully that we'll be building 2021.
I'm not saying anything to my husband. They're just getting through the gears when they hit the roundabout right there with their semis.
We're working on the design right now for the Freeland and Sass one. So,
Uh-huh.
We have not, other than
But,
preparing for
but
the
from a safety
possibility.
standpoint, I get it. Yep, it's a problematic corner, and that's most important.
I've been involved with a number of roundabouts over the years, so
Good.
I understand the safety benefits to them, and they still have to be at the correct location, and they have to be designed.
It's
to
a
fit.
problem corner.
They really have to be designed to fit the proper location.
Yep.
And I've heard a number of things over the years about this one has to be designed differently, or it should have been designed like that. Believe me, they're designed to handle what they're supposed to for a particular reason. And that was the one at Freeland Sass is going to be a little bit smaller, but it's going to be designed so that it can be, the center island can be traversed so that large vehicles and especially farm equipment can drive over it if need be while making their turns and while they navigate it. So it's just the way they're designed.
It's the wave of the future. They're everywhere in Europe. Nobody has lights.
And they're getting so they're
It's all
more and more
roundabouts.
even in the state of Michigan. They're all over the place now.
Yep, it's easier on gas.
Commissioner Nelson?
Yeah, could you update us on the asphalt plastic project? How is that going? Are the roads holding up? Are we gonna?
Well, they were done last year, so it's time will tell type of thing with those. But that was working heavily with some of our partners, with the asphalt industry, and of course Dow.
Yeah.
And so.
But is there, let's assume that it works well. would we have plans then to incorporate that broader in the county?
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be constant work between us and, like I said, the asphalt partners and Dow.
So it was done last year. Has it seen, is this the first winter it's seen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Proceed. Oh, Jeanette, Commissioner Snyder.
Sorry. And the road commission is very good working with their partners, and they're very aware. The way the funds come in, they just, they have to do parts of the road rather than doing the whole thing. And so some businesses have come to their meetings. They have some big concerns, like Coochie's has been hit pretty hard. They brought in their numbers for the last few years. And so, there's some concern to close the road again, so keeping it one lane. They're aware of those and do the best they can, but there are some businesses that come to the meetings about Eastman, just so you know.
Yeah, we had a public open house about it in
Yeah.
December, and we had a very good turnout for that.
They do very well with communication.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now proceed.
Okay. All right. One of the other things that was on that summary sheet for 2019 that was provided was the bridge conditions or the work on the bridges. That's always been a big concern for this county. They were kind of neglected for a while, and former Director Palmer really made it a focus to try to get a lot of them replaced or rehabbed as many of them as he could to try to bring them up into good condition. And they're expensive, so it's hard to prioritize them when you have so many of them that need work. And he started a number of years ago, and we're going to continue that. They found very cost-effective solutions for doing this work, and this is some of the things that they did last year. They did a total of 7 replacements. 5 preventive maintenance projects, which is, patching, overlays. They did some drainage work on the bridges and railing repairs, things like that. That was kind of a summary of total number of bridges that we have. We got 90 of them within the county, and those are the few that we addressed last year or tried to do work to bring them up into fair, good condition. So 2020, it's going to be more of the same. Most of this was already planned for the last few years. We're doing 3 more replacement. One is a large bridge on Coleman Road over the Chippewa River. That project is also very expensive, so that one's going to be bid. And then the other 2 replacements are going to be done by our own forces. Figured out how to do these special bridges and have really made replacing some of these really bad bridges cost effective for us. So we're going to keep doing more and more of that. And right now we plan on doing some more preventive maintenance work on some bridges too.
Commissioner Nosen.
Are we at least keeping up? Or, I know we have so much that's poor, fair, good. Are any of the fares dropping into poors, and are we keeping up?
We have a couple more charts here that are part of that sheet that I'll talk a little bit about that on the
Where are the 2 replacements going to, the other 2?
The other 2 that our crews are working on, one is on Meridian Road. I think it's Bullock Creek, where Meridian Road crosses that, and the other one is Gray Road, crossing Bullock Creek. There we go. I know you can't see that very well, but I tried to blow it up as much as I could. Terry provided these numbers to kind of show how we compare to the surrounding counties. And so it's a breakdown in each county. The green is the good, the ones that are considered, the miles that are considered in good condition. The blue is in fair, and the yellow is the poor. You've heard multiple times that we have a lot of bridges in poor condition, or roads or bridges in poor condition. Midland County, we tend to have more of them in the fair condition. And it's been like that. I mean, we're making improvements, I think. It's not, we're not falling off a cliff or anything, but we tend to have more of them in the fair condition rather than in the poor condition. Some of them have, more in good condition, but those fair roads and fair bridges are, I think, still, you don't notice a huge decrease in quality with those. They're not perfect. They got some cracks, but they're still holding up. They still ride good. So that's kind of been the focus more so, is trying to reduce the number of poor miles and bring them up into that classification. And that's why our preventive maintenance work is so important, because we're trying to maintain that. We really don't want to let, if you slip on that at all, those roads and bridges in fair condition slide down the poor range fairly quick. So that's, as long as we can keep keep working on those, get a handful of the reconstructs in, try to bring those up into good condition. We'll be doing all right. We are blessed to have the road millages, and that really helps with being able to get a lot of those miles of chip seals in, and the other surface seals that keep those roads in fair condition.
So do we have this data for the last 10 years to see kind of the?
We have different years worth of data. They collect road condition data approximately every 2 years. The local roads are a little bit different.
Okay.
The primary roads we collect more often. So it's
So it's available and we know.
yes, we do have summaries that we can produce for the roads and the bridges.
So this is from 2018. Will we be doing another study this year, 2020?
We'll put together another summary. What happens is that this data comes from the statewide organization that collects all the asset management information. So this is straight from them. This isn't from our database. So they take a little bit longer to produce the information for the previous year, and once that's available, I think it's usually late spring is when they release that.
Just as an aside, that I sit on the Water Asset Management Council, which is a companion to TAMC.
Yep.
TAMC's done a fantastic job over the years. They at least have a categorization process. Everybody agrees what core is. Everybody agrees what fair is. We don't have that yet for water assets.
Yeah, they've done a very good job of standardizing things so
Yeah.
that you're comparing apples to apples
Right.
around the state.
Commissioner Geisler.
Do you have any idea the composition breakdown of blacktop and plastics in the road?
With the plastics?
Yes.
Well, the plastic ones are the ones that we just did. Working with Dow are the ones that we just did last year. There was just a few miles that we
Just a
did.
couple miles.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just a test.
Some plastics are compatible or can be mixed with other plastics, and some can't.
One of those things, I'm sure Dow's been researching that's stuff that the scientific and,
They know what the
they're
mix is.
constantly, them and the universities are constantly researching
Yeah.
that type of thing, trying to make better. It's not always about making better pavements and stuff that lasts longer. Part of this whole initiative was making use of a waste material that would otherwise end up in a landfill. So it's making use of waste material, recycled materials. We have some other projects that we have coming up in the future that is all about using recycled materials. We just recently got approved for a scrap tire grant to try to pretty much replace a bridge with recycled beams, recycled materials, mostly scrap tires used in the backfill, used in creating the blocks for the facing on the abutments. It's all about using recycled materials.
Huh.
And the state is they're pushing that a lot right now because it's such a big deal. They have so much waste materials, specifically with the scrap tires, that's a good opportunity collect extra funds to be able to do this type of work, so.
Commissioner Twilliger.
Just a comment and a thought that how, this is very, I don't know if I want to use the word powerful, but I think it's very beneficial, not just for us to see this, but for all of the taxpayers that are paying that millage, to have that approved and know that we continue to be in a superior category, at least with our roads and fair with our bridges. Maybe you can say that being in the fair category is not, when you compare and benchmark with all of the other regional areas, we're doing a pretty good job. And as you said, the biggest benefit is that millage.
Absolutely.
And so when we have this pictorial survey so that people can observe that and see that, and it just is going to lead for that ongoing support of that funding. So, yeah, I really, really support ongoing graphs and not just for us, but
Yeah, we're gonna,
to distribute, when you do your, when you have some of, presentations up at your meetings, and I think you're really good.
we're gonna keep trying to get this
Yep.
information out there.
It's really good.
Both on our website and social media. We have a lot of, stuff planned since it is the village renewal year. We have a lot of stuff planned this year that, keep pushing for that.
Communication.
Yes, I think one of the huge benefits in our county that a lot of counties don't see is to the local roads in the townships. It gives a lot of power to the townships.
Yeah, it does.
And we just recently had a county engineers workshop for the whole state. And
Good.
they talk about a lot of how they deal with the townships and things that they do. And everybody is different. It's amazing all the different policies and the
Okay.
different way they handle the funding for the townships. And I think we see a huge benefit for the townships through the millage because we're able to provide a lot of funding for them. And that's not always the case in other counties.
It's usually not the case.
And I think the other one I have up there is for the bridges. Bridge. Similar type of thing. This is the one that we're really trying to work on. There's a plan in place. We have a 5-year plan that's kind of being stretched out to probably a few more years now for replacing all of the 4 bridges. So it'll take a little while, but we're gonna get caught up with those bridges and continue to make improvements there. That's what I had, just of what we've been doing and what we're gonna be doing this year. So, and you guys have already been asking questions. If you have anything else, let me know.
Thank you for your presentation, and welcome to Midland County.
Well, thank you very much. I
Nice
appreciate
to
it.
meet you.
Yes, thanks. Okay, at this point, we're going to move along on to public comment. So I'd like to open up to public comment on anything that is not on today's agenda. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, Ann, would you read Standing Committee Report number 1, please?
Dated February 14th, properly addressed, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Administration Operations Committee, recommend approval of the agreement with Vaughn's Flying Service Incorporated for the provision of aerial rubber siding services. The term of this agreement is from April 1st, 2020 through August 1st, 2020. Respectfully submitted, James Geisler, Chairperson, Scott Noson, Administration Operations Committee.
Commissioner Geisler.
Mr. Chairman, the A&O Committee recommends adoption of Agenda Item 12-2-20.
Do we have any public comment on this item? Any commissioner discussion? Ann, call roll, please.
Commissioner Snyder,
Here, or yes.
Glazer,
Yes.
Terwilliger,
Yes.
Geisler,
Yes.
Dorian is absent, Noson,
Here, yes.
Chairman Bone,
Yes.
6 yes, 1 absent, motion carries.
Committee Report number 2, please.
Dated February 14th, properly addressed, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Administration Operations Committee and the Finance Committee, have reviewed the request to approve a renewal of the county's agreement with Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority, MMRMA, for the provision of property and liability insurance. The term of this agreement is from January 1st, 2020 through January 1st, 2021. We recommend approval of the grant and the Administrator Controller be authorized to amend the 2020 budget in the amount of $41,230 to account for the 3.1 increase from 2019. Respectfully submitted, James Geisler, Chairperson, Scott Noson, Administration Operations Committee, Scott Noson, Chairperson, James Geisler, Jeanette Snyder, Finance Committee.
Commissioner Geisler.
Mr. Chairman, the A&O Committee recommends the adoption of Agenda Item 14-2-20.
Commissioner Noson.
Mr. Chairman, the Finance Committee also recommends adoption of Agenda Item 14-2-20.
Do we have any public comment on this item? Any commissioner discussion? And call roll, please.
Commissioner Glazer,
Yes.
Terwilliger,
Yes.
Geisler,
Yes?
Noson,
Yes.
Snyder,
Yes.
Chairman Bone.
Yes.
6 yes, 1 absent, motion carries.
Committee report number 3, please.
Dated February 14th, properly addressed. Ladies and gentlemen, we, your Finance Committee, recommend approval of the attached resolution authorizing the purchase of the 2019 delinquent taxes pursuant to Public Act 532 of the Michigan Public Act of 1978. The estimated borrowing is as follows. The 2019 adjusted tax roll, $125,822,449, 4.5% average delinquency on March 1st, 2020, $5,662,010. Estimated collections from March 1st through April 30th, $1,500,000. Estimated 2020 county borrowing, $4,162,010. The resolution would authorize the Midland County Treasurer to borrow a maximum amount of $7 million. The amount for borrowing would be adjusted based on the actual amount of delinquency on March 1st, 2020, less the collections from March 1st, 2020 through April 30th, 2020. The deadline for the county to reimburse the local units for their 2019 delinquent is June 1st, 2020, which will be funded through the borrowing. We've respectfully submitted Scott Noson, Chairperson, James Geisler, Jeanette Snyder, Finance Committee.
Commissioner Noson.
Mr. Chairman, the Finance Committee recommends adoption of Agenda Item
I think we need to support on
13-2-20.
this.
Can we get support on this? It's a resolution.
I support.
Support.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Noson. Do we have any public comment? Any commissioner discussion? And call roll, please.
Commissioner Terwilliger,
Yes.
Geisler,
Yes?
Noson,
Yes.
Snyder,
Yes.
Glazer,
Yes.
Chairman Bone.
Yes.
6 yes, 1 absent, motion carries.
That's it for our standing committee reports. We have no RPCs. We have no old business, no new business that I'm aware of. We will move on to commissioner comments and start with Commissioner Terwilliger.
I'm just happy to hear the road commission report, and it was a pleasure to meet John, and there you are. That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Geisler.
No comment.
Commissioner Noson.
No comment.
Commissioner Snyder.
I just agree with Gay. It's nice to have John with us, and I go to those meetings, and they're very interesting. Thankful for our road commission.
Thank you. Commissioner Glazer.
Yes, also about the road commission, working in the Allen County, folks really appreciate the money that they have. I think the millage is a boon to them. And I've heard many wonderful comments about the working relationship with the staff of the road commission. So I certainly pray that that will continue. But I hear stories of the old days, and they were not so good. So it's great to see the working relationship, and as you say, the empowerment that they have working with the road commission, matching funds and so forth. It seems like they do a good job with it, and really appreciate that collaborative agreement that you have there with the townships. It's great. So keep up the good work.
Thank you. I have no comment, so we'll move on to commissioner meeting schedules and start with Commissioner Terwilliger.
For my schedule for the next couple of weeks, I have community mental health wraparound, which is going to be tomorrow. I have also the stakeholders breakfast this coming up Friday on the 21st. On February 27th, I have an opioid update that I'm scheduled to attend. And that's a Thursday, and that jams right into drug court, so I'm going to Be a little bit late for drug court, but I'll be attending that same morning at probably around 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Geisler?
Yes, on the 25th of the month, A&O at 2:30 in the first floor conference room.
Thank you. Commissioner Nosen?
Yes, I also will be at the MBA Stakeholder Breakfast on the 21st. Michigan Works Consortium and Workforce Board together will meet on the 24th at 3:30 at Valley Plaza. Finance Committee will meet at 1:30 on the 25th. And then I have a Water Asset Management Council in Lansing at 9:30 on the 27th. And one final note, the Board of our next Board of Commissioners meeting, I will not be there. I have the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference on that day. And we're actually going to have a chance to talk with both of our senators, U.S. senators from Michigan. So MAC is actually hosting a day at the Capitol for us, which will be interesting.
Great. Commissioner Snyder?
On the 20th, I have the Road Commission and the LEPC and the Sanford Lake Association. The 24th, there's going to be a tabletop exercise in Midland Public Schools. I will be attending that. And the 25th, Finance already mentioned, City of Coleman. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Glazer?
Yes, tomorrow afternoon, I go down to Lansing for a 4 o'clock meeting with the Substance Use Disorder Policy Oversight Board. And then at 7 o'clock, I'll be at Homer Township. Thursday, we have a District 3 quad meeting. I imagine the Road Commission has been, I can only imagine you've been invited. So that will be in Jasper Township at 6:30. Monday, the 24th, Human Services will meet, it's scheduled to meet at 1:30. And we don't have a board meeting. And then Mid-Michigan Community Action is on the 27th in Clare, and I skipped over Tuesday, the 25th, Community Mental Health in Mount Pleasant. And then that's it.
Thank you very much. And I have a fairly late schedule the rest of the month. The only thing I have is the MBA stakeholders meeting on Friday, the 21st. That's all I have that's all the business we have today. Take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Do we have support? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same. This meeting is adjourned until Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020 at 9 a.m. to meet in a regular session and for the committees to resume their duties. Thank you. Everybody have a great day.